Hello and welcome to another episode of Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie and I'm your host for today's show. Originally, the show was planned for just to do a match preview of Liverpool versus Chelsea, but with so much transfer news going on today, I feel like it was only right to discuss it, even though it's not really Liverpool related, but it's still Premier League related, as it's certain transfers that are strengthening our rivals for the Premier League title. So we'll be discussing transfers later on in the show. Plus, I actually totally forgot that the Champions League draw was taking place today. So I'll also give my reaction regarding the draw that took place for Liverpool, but also analyze the other groups that were panned out as well. So we can talk about it in detail. But let's begin with our main event of the show, the match preview of Liverpool versus Chelsea. So very early encounter between two big sides in the season. I feel like this fixture would definitely show an indication in terms of how good Liverpool's depth is in terms of squad, because if you believe what you see in the media, we've already been written off regarding the title race because we haven't strengthened or we haven't signed big players or marquee signings. We should never really be the indication of a team's success, as pretty much our team has the foundations and we're just strengthening little areas here and there. Hopefully still a few more days left, so I am hoping Liverpool do at least get one or two signings in, but that remains to be seen going forward. But because you've got teams like Chelsea who spent big on Lukaku, just under 100 million, you've got Manchester United spending 75 million roughly on Sancho, and you've got Varane coming in for 40 million. People are just thinking that, they're automatically contenders for the title. But a lot of United pundits, including Gary Neville and fans that I've spoken to as well, have kind of distanced themselves in regards to the title race. But I think Chelsea are going to be one of the top contenders, as I feel like their squad is so strong. They have a lot of quality all across the squad, and there are rumours that another defender might be coming in, which we'll speak about later on. But back to the match and back to my predicted lineup for the Liverpool team. So I think it goes without saying Alisson will be the starting goalkeeper. There's no reason to do squad rotation, as I believe after this there will be a international break, even though news broke that teams that are supposed to have played their friendly matches or qualifiers in locations that are red zone, players aren't permitted to leave to participate in those matches. So a lot of the Brazilian boys, I believe, won't be playing. So in that regards, I think obviously Alisson should definitely start, without saying. Back four is a tricky one because I think the left back position is the talking point right now with Liverpool fans in terms of, should Tsimikas continue to play for the team as he's shown great form in the opening couple of games, or because Robertson is back fit, should we just put him back into the lineup? As you know, he is our number one left back, and if he's fully fit, there shouldn't be a reason to do that. It's an interesting debate, and I feel like it only goes with what Klopp feels and what Klopp sees in training. Me personally, I'd probably reinstate Robertson back into the team, as it's such an important fixture. I know it's the third fixture of the season, but if we were to win this game, I think it's a statement as well at the same time. So for my lineup, I would go with a strong back four. So I've gone for Robertson at left back, Van Dijk 100% in this lineup there. At the beginning of the season, I did think we should try and ease him in, but he's a colossal. So for him, continue to play, and he's been fantastic in the last couple of games. Really impressed in terms of how he's pretty much hasn't looked out of place since his long-term injury. So really impressed with how he's performed. Now the centre-back pairing. So Matip has been fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like for this fixture, I would probably reinstate Gomez in this game. My only concern for Matip is I don't want him to play too many consecutive games as he's such an invaluable player to the squad. I feel like in this game, Gomez might be better suited with his pace to kind of occupy Lukaku, as well as the wide players that they have. So whether it's Mason Mount or um, Kyle Havertz playing, remains to be what their lineup is. But I feel like this might be the game where we just put Gomez in to kind of give Matip a rest. But if Matip was to start, I wouldn't have no arguments because I feel like when on form, he's one of the best centre backs in the Premier League. So rate Matip really, really highly. And then Trent obviously starts at right back. There's no reason to rotate him or drop him for any reason. So that's pretty much my back four there. Midfield, I think it's too soon to reinstate Fabinho after his father passed away last week. So our thoughts and prayers to him and his family. I think at this stage, your family and this sort of situation where he's grieving right now, it's only right that he steps away from football and isn't rushed into playing straight away. So I wouldn't throw Fabinho back into this game at this stage. So I've gone with Henderson as the number 6 in our team as a defensive midfielder. And I feel like he was fantastic last week against Burnley. So definitely should stay in the team. Midfield will be a bit of an interesting one. I'd probably bring back Thiago back into the team. I feel like even though he's made 10 minutes in the last appearance, he showed glimpses of his quality there. I'm a big fan. If you watched my previous episodes, big fan of Thiago. So I'm really excited to see how he performs this year. Main thing for me is for him to stay fit, as that's been the issue last season, and getting acclimatized to the team, the way the team plays and the league. So I'll play Thiago in this fixture. The third midfielder I was kind of contemplating. So I was thinking maybe put Milner back in there. But I feel like we need to use Milner a bit wisely. And I believe he did play last week. So I'd go for Keita. It's probably a thought where two sort of not the biggest midfielders in our centre mid, but I feel like it might suit this fixture as they've got Jorginho and Kounde who will be playing. So two players that won't really boss in terms of their physical attributes against the team. So I feel like Henderson will be the powerhouse to destroy any attacks, but also pin beautiful long range balls as he did against Burnley, which I was really impressed with. Keita has sort of employed a different style of playing, which I believe probably suits him and may actually help him in the long run in terms of maintaining fitness and playing consecutive games. As I feel like when we signed him, we were expecting to see the Leipzig version of Naby Keita. Maybe the Premier League is a bit too robust for him in terms of playing like that week in, week out. So he's kind of played that genie role and he's done it quite effectively as well. So I'll continue to play him. I know it's a bit of a risk considering his injury record, but I feel like he's showing good form. If required, we can probably take him off later on in the second half. But I feel like starting this game would be great for our tempo and hopefully give us an early goal regarding the way he plays and stuff. So that would be my midfield. Front three, Salah, goes without saying. I think he'll do really well in this game. Mane on the left, scored last week, so I'm really hoping that gives him the confidence to go ahead and continue to play the level that we've seen him play for the last few years. So excited for Mane. I mentioned in my previous episode, a lot of fans have written him off due to his sort of low standards shown last year, but he's still a quality player for me, so don't write him off. He will show his quality later on the season. I'm pretty sure of that. Up front, I've gone for Firmino. I think in this game, it might suit us to have a player like Firmino where dropping deep, sort of becoming an extra midfielder will allow us to kind of keep the midfield compact. And then I feel like in this game, Chelsea will probably have more ball possession which is unusual whenever a team comes to Anfield. But I feel like because the way they play, they're actually the second team with the highest ball possession in the league. So in terms of how they play, I feel like we might have to play them on the counter. So having an extra body to link up the midfield and the two attackers in terms of Mane and Salah might be pivotal in this sort of fixture. And I feel like if we're seeking for more of a direct play later on in the game, Jota would be perfect to come in. So I'd probably bring back Firmino back into the starting lineup. So just to recap my full lineup, if I was Klopp, I'd go for Alisson in goal, and then my back four would be Robertson, Van Dijk, Gomez, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. My midfield would be Henderson, Thiago, and Naby Keita. And up front, I would go with our normal trio, Salah, Mane, and Firmino. So let me know what you guys think regarding that lineup. I'm sure some people might have different views, especially the centre-back position, I think, midfield, and maybe even up front. So good to hear in terms of what you guys think. Just got a comment here from Mental Health Guy, Ballon d'Or loading for Jorginho. Yes, so I saw earlier on today that he won the UEFA Men's Player of the Year award. I hope he doesn't get the Ballon d'Or. Maybe sort of an old-fashioned way of looking at it, but for me, he's not the best player in the world. He hasn't been the best player in the last season. I know he's won accolades. Obviously, he won the Euros. He's won the Champions League. So he's won the big trophies, but he's just part of the team. So for me, it's like that's not enough to warrant him to win the Ballon d'Or. But obviously, congrats to him in terms of winning the award today. But yeah, an interesting one, to be fair. So Chelsea's formation. I think with Chelsea, it will be pretty much the similar lineup that they had against Arsenal. So they had Mendy in goal, Rudiger, Christensen, Azpilicueta as the right side and centre-back. So this formation suits them, the 3-4-2-1. One player to definitely look out for, obviously we know him, but in terms of stopping him to play or to have a run on the right-hand side is Reece James. If you watch his game against Arsenal, he was fantastic. Really bombed that right flank, putting a lot of crosses for Lukaku, also scored a goal. So he'll be very, very important in terms of how we stop Chelsea playing. So Mane and Robertson, if they were the two players that start, according to my lineup, would be very important in terms of stopping his runs, but at the same time pushing forward. So he's actually resorted to playing more defensively than attacking. So that would be the tactics along those lines. Kovacic as well played the other day. I think he'll start. Jorginho, Alonso's in the team as well. And then Mason Mount, who pretty much can play in multiple positions and is a very important player for Chelsea. So I'm expecting him to start. Havertz as well. Showed good promise in the last game. I feel like there's more to come from him, especially the way he played later on in last season. Definitely a player there, so I'm expecting high numbers in terms of goals and assists as the season goes on. And the star man, Lukaku, was just fantastic against Arsenal. Caused all kinds of havoc. They just couldn't handle his power, his speed, his hold-up play. And I've been watching Serie A, so for me, it's not new, but there has been a lot of improvement since the last time he played in the Premier League. So he's actually using his physique more to his advantage. So he's bullying defenders more so than before. His link-up play has improved. His understanding of his position and awareness in terms of when to play the right balls or to slide in a play on a wide area has improved as well. So he's matured as a player. So he's become more knowledgeable in terms of his role and understand what's required to help the team, but at the same time, be the focal point to score goals. So very obviously it's an expensive signing, but I feel like that's the perfect signing that Chelsea could have made. Obviously, you've got Haaland there, but Haaland interesting to see where he ends up next year, because I've seen all sorts of quotes today about Mino Raiola asking for a salary as part of the deal, which I believe was around 800k. So with an agent like that, it's never going to be a smooth deal, because everyone's like, oh, release clause is only 64 million, but you got an agent like that, you have to pay the price. It's not it's not as sweet as of a deal as it seems. So, but yeah, back to Lukaku, I feel like it'll be very interesting. Obviously, the talking point is Lukaku versus Van Dijk. Me personally, I have no issues. I think it'll be an interesting battle, but I feel like Van Dijk will be victorious. They've played against each other in the past, and I feel like there's not many players that can outmuscle or outpace Van Dijk. So I'm pretty confident. Obviously, remains to be seen how the game pans out. But yeah, very, very excited about this game. Just got a comment here from Hannah CFC. I think we will play Werner and Lukaku. Okay, Havertz not going to start. Fine. Look, Werner would be an interesting one. I think for me, Werner will surprise some people this season, as I feel like playing more as a wide forward suits his style of play, but also his ability on the ball. I feel like playing as the main striker last year was not suited for him in terms of how the Premier League is set up, or to play as a part of two attackers. But obviously, teams don't really tend to play with two attackers like that anymore. So, interesting point there. I didn't realize Werner is more of a contention to be in the lineup. But I think either Werner or Havertz, they will cause Liverpool some problems. But Lukaku is the main threat. So, it'll be interesting how that goes. In terms of my score prediction, I don't think there'll be a lot of goals in this, if I'm brutally honest. If I was in my position, I think it'll be 1-0 to Liverpool, and it won't be an easy game. I think Chelsea will be knocking on the door plenty of times, but I feel like we might just get the crucial goal. I would say in the latter stages in the second half. If I was to predict the goal scorer, I'd go for Mane. I think Mane might just clinch the goal. Maybe that's more of a hopeful vibe in terms of I want Mane to get some more goals and increase his confidence. But yeah, so that's my prediction regarding Mane there. So that was the first part of the show. We can go on to the Champions League reaction. So I totally forgot that this was taking place today. So caught me a bit of surprise in terms of the draw, which we can have a look ourselves here. But before we do, got another comment here from Hannah CFC. So this is his lineup: Mendy, Rudiger, Azpilicueta, Christensen, James, Alonso, Jorginho, Kovacic, Mount, Werner, and Lukaku. So in terms of the last fixture, Werner takes place of Havertz in the lineup, which makes sense. So do you know what? That's pretty much I wouldn't say that's a far off lineup in terms of your selection there. It's pretty much the same team as last week. You've just taken out Havertz for Werner. I would probably go with the same formation as what was played last week against Arsenal. I think Werner might be effective coming off the bench, as there will be times where I feel like Chelsea might need to stretch Liverpool in certain areas, especially on the right-hand side where we've got Trent, and I'm not sure who will be playing. It might be Thiago. So with that in mind, it might be an area they'd want to exploit later on in the game, if we're sort of talking tactics here. But yeah, it will be an interesting encounter. I'm really excited to see how that pans out. But yes, so we can quickly review the Champions League draw. So let's go for each group. So the first group, it had to be, isn't it? Manchester City, Paris Saint-Germain, Red Bull Leipzig, and Club Brugge. So yeah, that's exciting as it is. At this stage, if you believe the rumors, I'm not quite so sure what's happening right now. It's like a crazy circus right now. But you've got rumors that Ronaldo might be a Man City player before the end of the window. So if that was to happen, it would be Ronaldo versus Messi, but not for the teams that you'd expect them to be playing for. So regardless, fantastic, exciting game between two big teams there. Red Bull Leipzig as well. They recruit some good players. So it'll be interesting to see how they play. Club Brugge as well. I believe they were there last year. So it'll be a tough group for them to make any sort of impact. I think the way it's formatted there, you've got Man City, Paris Saint-Germain. Those two will be the teams that go through. Group B. So this is the group that my beloved Liverpool are in, and it's a tough group. Part of me is happy that we've got Atletico Madrid. As for me, I'd like to get some revenge from what happened. I feel like I was going to say a couple of years ago, but it was last year, I believe. So, yeah, for me, the second leg was just a bit of a nightmare due to a performance from a certain player, which I don't need to go into detail with, but Liverpool fans will know who I'm talking about there. So, yeah, for me, a bit of revenge would be sweet, playing against them twice as well, home and away. So that would be a great encounter. FC Porto, seem to play them all the time. I read a little fun fact before the show started that whenever we've played Porto in the Champions League, we end up being in the final. So could be a good omen there. So we'll see how that goes. AC Milan, another exciting team. So an Italian team that I've always been fond of over the years. So it'll be nice to see how Liverpool play against AC Milan. Got some good players there. You've got Kessie there. Got Zlatan there as well. So good players there. Group C, Sporting Lisbon, Borussia Dortmund, Ajax, and Besiktas. So no big hitters there in particular. I can see Borussia Dortmund doing quite well. They've got Marlon as their new signing, so they'll be raring to go. Obviously, Haaland, goal-scoring machine. Ajax, an exciting team. Sporting Lisbon have some exciting players as well. So these fixtures would actually be quite enjoyable to watch, and there's a lot of talent on show there. Besiktas, I wouldn't know too much in terms of their star players, but we're interested to see how they play. So another interesting group there. Group D, Inter Milan, Real Madrid, Shakhtar Donetsk, and a new team, FC Sheriff, first Moldovan team, I believe, to qualify for the Champions League. So a bit of history made there. For me, it's pretty quite obvious it will be Inter Milan and Real Madrid. If I was to predict the two group winners there. Group E is a good one. Bayern Munich, FC Barcelona, Benfica, and Dynamo Kiev. So Benfica are a good team. I know they knocked out PSV to qualify for the Champions League, and they've got some good players there. So they won't be easy to beat. Barcelona, obviously, no Messi. So it'll be interesting to see how they play in the Champions League without their star player. And Bayern Munich just looks strength to strength for me. I believe they won 12-0 the other day. So, yeah, they'll be firing and raring to go. So, favourites will be Bayern Munich and Barcelona to go through there. Group F looks like Manchester United got the luck regarding the group draw here. Villarreal, which is an exciting encounter, as they were the team that defeated United in the Europa League final. So I'm sure they'll be seeking a bit of revenge there. Atalanta as well, good Italian team. Produced some great youngsters over the last few years. So interesting fixture, and you've got young boys there as well. So favourites would be Villarreal, Manchester United, but don't rule out Atalanta. They've got some decent players, so they might surprise a few people with their form. Group G, you've got Lille, Sevilla, FC Salzburg, and Wolfsburg. So Lille, current French champions. So I feel like they've managed to keep most of their decent players. They have actually sold a few, but still, nevertheless, a good outfit. They beat PSG to claim their equivalent to a Charity Shield. So still a strong side there. Got Sevilla. Sevilla have recruited Eric Lamela. I believe one of their players might be departing to Chelsea, which is Kounde, which I'll talk about later on in the show. FC Salzburg. There's this one youngster that I'm a big fan of, Kareem Ioni. I feel like you pronounce his name. If you haven't seen him, do look out for him in terms of these fixtures because he was fantastic. And from what I've seen him, young player, German nationality. So he will surprise quite a few people there. So another player coming from the ranks of Salzburg. So do be on the lookout for him. And Wolfsburg as well. Solid team from Germany. I would say in terms of this group, Lille and Sevilla would be the favourites as well. Finally, Group H, Chelsea, Juventus, Zenit, and Malmo. Malmo, sorry. FF there. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. Chelsea, current Champions League champion, will be leading that group. Juventus, would they be with Ronaldo? Would they be without Ronaldo? Remains to be seen. Bit of a merry-go-round regarding the transfer window right now. So, yeah, I think some of these teams, on paper, it's quite obvious in terms of who are the strong teams, but we know how knockout games are. There will be a few surprising results. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. But in regards to Liverpool, my reaction, tough group. It's not an easy one. I think Atletico Madrid are the ones that will challenge us the most. AC Milan I still feel like they're a good team. Probably not as great as the past when, the teams the AC Milan teams we played in 2005 and 2007. But they've got some good talent there. So I'm excited for the Champions League. Really excited in terms of when that comes about again. Okay, so we can remove that. I've just got a comment here from Hannah CFC. I'm a huge Chelsea supporter and Malmo in my hometown. So it's me, but I'm sticking with Chelsea. I'm proud of Malmo. They already made 70 million euro and that all of the money for a Swedish club. Yeah, I can imagine so. So got split sort of alliances there, which is quite nice to see. Yeah, I'll be interested to see how Malmo play. I don't know too many players regarding Malmo, so I'm intrigued to see who plays for them and who's a standout player. And it's always good to see different teams and different talents in the Champions League as well. So definitely an exciting encounter there. So we can talk about transfers now. So transfer talk. The first one, pretty much let's dive into it. Ronaldo to Manchester City. So when this first sort of rumor broke, I just thought it was a bit of a joke. I didn't really take it too seriously. But as the days have gone on, I saw today there was actually pictures of his agent, George Mendes, coming out of a hotel in Manchester. I don't know how authentic that is, but he has been having discussions directly with Manchester City, according to rumors today. So originally, I think Juventus wanted to have a transfer fee with Ronaldo leaving the club. So I believe the fee was around 25 to 30 million pounds. But I think Manchester City are trying to get him on a free. So it remains to be seen if that happens. But apparently, I was on Sky Sports earlier. There's a few journalists saying that it's a done deal. United fans, let me know how you feel because, yeah, that's your legend right there. Obviously not joining directly from United to Man City, but still joining your fiercest rivals there. So how do you feel? Because I've got a lot of friends that looked up to Ronaldo and, still support him until this day. Yeah, it's an interesting one, to be fair. Got another couple comments here from Hannes CFC. I'm going to go to the match in Sweden if they do full stadium. I hope so. That would be a great occasion for yourself. Just to see my idol and favorite football player, N'Golo Kante. So, yeah, I think N'Golo Kante is fantastic. So, let's hope you are able to purchase ticket and be part of a full attendance, as that would be a great experience for you. But yeah, I'm excited to see all these Champions League fixtures coming up. Exciting prospects in terms of the way the groups have panned out. So, yeah, it should be really good. back to Ronaldo. Do I see any truth in this? I have a gut feeling there is. I think he might be signed very soon. It's just funny for me because I'm a Liverpool fan, and just to see United fans rattled it's a joy itself. But I would never expected this move to have happened. It's kind of like a domino effect because Messi's gone. Maybe Man City, because it's been presented to them as an opportunity to sign Cristiano Ronaldo, it just kind of go hand in hand that if we get Ronaldo, we get that PR and that kind of spotlight on the club as well. So not sure how long the contract will be. Probably be a couple of years, I think. Who knows? It's an issue. It's a very surprising one. I didn't see that happening, to be fair. And then you've got another rumor, Mbappe to Real Madrid. So me personally, if I was Mbappe, I would probably have stayed. Play alongside Messi. It's a lifetime opportunity, and obviously with Neymar, so that as a your forward line is just what dreams are made of. To be honest with you, so a bit surprising in terms of how he's been persistent in terms of saying he wants to leave, and this is not just recently. I believe it was his third offer on the table regarding a new contract. So for him, it's probably more to do with his drive, his ambition, and to progress within his career. So everyone knows he's a lifelong Real Madrid fan, as he idolized Cristiano Ronaldo during his time there. So obviously that benefits Real Madrid in terms of strengthening their squad, but also La Liga, because there is no standout player there. So he would be the poster boy for La Liga if he was to join Real Madrid. So it only benefits him in terms of his popularity and playing alongside Benzema, who he's good friends with as well. As you can see, they formed a good partnership during the Euros. So it would only benefit him to join Real Madrid. I'd be surprised if he'd go, but according to rumors, I believe a second bid has been submitted and accepted as well. So that's not official news. That's just rumors that I'm hearing. So I believe the bid is around 170 million euros plus 10 million add-ons, resulting to 180 million. That is a ridiculous amount of fee anyway for a player. But for a player, I know it's Mbappe, but for a player that's on his last year of his contract, that is mental. That's an offer I guess PSG just could not refuse if rumors are to be believed. So crazy. I just did not expect these sort of deals to be happening so late in the window. Maybe they were in the works weeks beforehand and we're just getting the news right now, but it's mental, absolutely mental. So we've got a comment here from Mental Health Guy. Do you thought it was more of an ego for Mbappe leaving? He was going to Real Madrid in 12 months. It might possibly be. I couldn't say that for sure, especially when you look at the Euros, the sort of the issues he had with Giroud. I don't see it in Mbappe, but if what you hear in the media is he likes to be the main guy, that is what he wants to be known as, and that's what he wants to be looked at. So knowing that Messi has joined PSG on footballing terms, for us as neutrals, that's amazing to see Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar in the same team. But for Mbappe, he's like the spotlights was on Neymar quite heavily, and now it's on Messi. So do I want to be third fiddle in terms of pecking order, in terms of who the best player is for the club? Maybe that's why he's decided that, I want a new challenge as well. Obviously, there were rumors that Liverpool, one of the interested English clubs, and fans were getting excited about it. But, I'm a realist. I just never saw that happening at all. It's just not the way Liverpool do business. We don't tend to buy best players just like that. We tend to buy players that are good potential or are good quality players and then turn them into world class. I think only Thiago is a player that I can that comes to my mind that we bought as he's on top of his game, to be honest with you. So, but I think that was the appeal to play under Klopp more than anything else, and obviously Liverpool as a club. as we've been so successful in the last few years. Go all out and try and win Champions League for one season. Me personally, I think Mbappe should have stayed. I think, obviously, nothing's been official yet, but I feel like this is the season that he could have won the Champions League. And it could have just helped his status as well as a player. But at the same time, he could go and move on to Real Madrid as a Champions League winner. So, but obviously, the issue more is to do with his contract, that he's on his last year of his contract. So it's kind of like now or never. As in January, he'll be able to sign a pre-contract agreement. So, especially the comments that I read from the PSG president, they've always made the stance that, you know, if that's what he wants, it's fine, but it's on our terms. So obviously they want to get some money, as they have to pay Monaco as well. They have to pay them a percentage. So because it's 180 million euros, I believe 30 million goes to Monaco as well. So we'll come down to 150 million euros there. So yeah, it's an interesting one, to be fair. I think, I don't know. I probably, if I was Mbappe, I probably would have stayed, or signed the contract extension with the club, but inform the club that next summer I'd like to review my situation and maybe have a release clause where if a club meets that bid, I'll be able to leave. No hand, you know, what's the gentleman agreement, like Harry Kane, unfortunately, has been misled or misadvised, as nothing's on paper. So he's staying at Tottenham now. So unfortunate for him there. But yeah, I think Mbappe probably should have just stayed. I think the transfer window that PSG have done in terms of their spending, probably the best transfer window ever. That comes to my mind anyway. So top signings. There'll be a real force in the Champions League, and they are expected to win the Champions League without a shadow of a doubt now. So more pressure on them. But if Mbappe goes, who will come in as his replacement? So interesting. I hope no Liverpool players are linked with that, because that would really annoy me. Because Salah would be probably their first choice, and I do not want to see that happening at all. So let's not put any negative energy out there in the universe. That's a stressful thought right there. Player mentioned earlier on the show, Kounde to Chelsea. So this rumor has been going on for quite a number of weeks now, but I believe the stance was from Chelsea that there would be a part exchange with Zuma heading to Sevilla, but it's a move that he wasn't very excited about. So today, I believe Zuma has had a medical at West Ham, so that's the club he will be joining, and Kounde would be coming as a normal transfer deal for a fee of 42 million, which is fantastic business. I thought the fee would have been a lot higher, as it was quoted around 60 million in the media. So for 42 million, and a player like him who has high potential, can play multiple positions. So in a back four, can play centre back, left or right side easily, and can also play right back as well. Can also play on the right side in a back three, and can also play wing back if necessary. So in terms of the way Tuchel sets up his team, predominantly a 3-4-3 sort of, or 3-4-2-1 formation, and can also play 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. He suits every sort of system that they play, so he'd be a fantastic signing. Zuma's a good player as well, but he's limited in terms of he can only play as a centre back, and there's a wealth of centre back players within that Chelsea squad. So for me, a fantastic signing, really strengthens their squad further. I also see Saul Niguez linked with a move there. Yeah, if he was to go, that's Chelsea are definitely, they're not messing around this year. So it will be interesting to see who they actually sign. Well, Kounde looks like it's the most likely signing, but if they were to sign Saul as well, yeah, that would be a very fearful thought, and I feel like they will be very strong contenders for the Premier League title there. But remains to be seen. At the moment, it's pretty much open discussion. We'll probably hear some more news developing in the next few days. But regards to my beloved Liverpool, a couple of players that I've seen sort of their names bandied around on social media today. So Damsgaard to Liverpool. So if you watched any of my episodes during the Euros, he was a player that I mentioned before the start of the Euros actually to look out for. He's a hidden gem, a player that I predicted would shine, and then I'm not saying I'm Mystic Meg or Mystic Oz, but kind of came to fruition as everyone is aware of him now. A fantastic young player, plays as a winger for his club Sampdoria, but can play in the central area as a number 10 or even as a number 8. So he would be an interesting signing for the club. Do I see it happening? I'm not too sure, to be fair. I don't see Liverpool signing a midfielder this summer. If we were to sign anyone, because at this stage I can't say we're signing anyone. But I don't see it being a midfielder, to be fair. I think we'll probably try and spend big next year. And I've got one player in mind, and that's Jude Bellingham. I would love that to be the signing next year, but at this stage, probably more wishful thinking than anything else. But maybe someone like that, or Gravenberch from Ajax, that kind of caliber of a player, young, promising, the next one to kind of become that guy in world football. I think that's what we'd probably aim to do next summer. And I don't want to talk about next summer, but that is just that's just a Liverpool thing, I guess. We will say, oh, next summer we'll do this, next summer we'll do that. As annoying as it is, but I think it's factual. We'll probably go big for midfielder next summer. I'm really hoping we sign an attacker in this window. At this stage, I'm not sure if we will. If Damsgaard was the guy that comes into the club, I wouldn't be disappointed. I'm a big fan of his. I'm not sure he's the right profile or not the right profile. I'm not sure he's exactly what we need right now. As if we need a winger or an attacker, I feel like it needs to be someone that offers us a lot pace on the wings. He's a fast player, nippy player, but he doesn't have blistering pace like a Mane or Salah. And a player that can play a number 9 role as well, or I don't know, comfortably on either wings. He's more suited to play on the left side for his club and his country. So I wouldn't be disappointed to sign. He's a player I really highly rate. I just don't see it happening this summer, if I'm honest with you. And another player that I literally just saw before I came on, being linked or being talked about on social media, is Lucas Ocampos to Liverpool. So he is a Argentinian winger / striker who plays for Sevilla. I've watched him play last 2-3 years. A player I really like. I think he's a player that stands out for me in that Sevilla team. Really aggressive with his pressing. So it's got a Jurgen Klopp trait written all over him there. Gets goals as well, gets assists. Really pivotal in terms of how Sevilla attack. Aggressive. Has a tenacity about him in terms of his style of play. I think he'd be a great signing. I believe the quote is around 36 million. Some have said that, his age has to be looked into. He's 27 years old. Is that the right sort of player to come in? Me personally, I don't care how old the player is. For me, he needs to be the right player for the club. So at 27, even if we played him for 3 years, that makes him 30 years old, and we sell him, he's done what he's needed to do. So age shouldn't be looked at in this situation. Look at Man City, they're trying to get a 36-year-old. I know it's Cristiano Ronaldo, but he's still a 36-year-old player. So you have to look at the ability of the player. I feel like Liverpool fans, we do get sort of like into it too much in terms of worrying about how old he is, his wages, is he going to be happy to be on the bench and all that kind of stuff. I want Liverpool to have quality players throughout the whole team. So every position, 2 quality players per position. That's how I want it to be. So if he was to come in, he predominantly plays on the right side. So he'd be a fantastic backup for Salah and plays comfortably on the left side as well. So I feel like he'd be a fantastic signing for the club. Will it happen? Who knows? I don't have any sources to confirm that for me, but I would be excited with that signing with Ocampos to Liverpool. Mental health guy will comment here. If the Qataris wanted to buy Liverpool, would you want it to happen? I am conflicted with Arsenal. Interesting one. the answer for most fans would be like, yes, because we can just buy whoever we want. But that's not the root of how Liverpool is as a club. We're known as a hard-working club, family-orientated as well, and we're not really known to just splash the cash in that kind of manner. It's a conflicting one. You say you're an Arsenal fan. For me, it's a bit of a conflicting one as well, because you're thinking if we have that kind of ownership, they'll have the money to spend it on big players. But I'm a strong believer in terms of youth football, where give your youngsters a chance, especially homegrown players. That'll be kind of swept away with this sort of ownership. And paying over the odds for players as well, because that is what's happened at Man City, especially just look at defenders alone. They spent over 500 million, I believe. So maybe even more, to be fair. So you will be always overcharged when it comes to not even English players, any players, full stop. So with that, it comes with a price. You will have to pay over the odds. I feel like teams like Man City do not get respected because it's like they're buying success rather than working hard for it. And that's the Liverpool way. We've worked hard to reach to the top. We haven't relied on owners with big wallets and stuff like that. So it's an interesting one. I don't have a strong opinion about it. All I care about is the success of Liverpool Football Club. So if that was to happen in the future, I don't think I'd have too much of an issue about it, as long as the club's interests are in line with the fans. That's key as well. You don't want it to be where the club are thinking more business-minded, where they buy players to make a profit and not really strengthening the team, or when it comes to certain situations where your team has won a trophy, the next window is crucial to try and add more quality into the squad. That's been a bit of a downfall for Liverpool, in my opinion, where when we've won the Champions League or when we won the Premier League, we haven't. I think last year might be, I wouldn't say for last year, because Jota and Thiago for me were great signings. They both showed promise, but you'll see the true quality this season. But the previous season, we bought Sepp Vandenberg and we got Adrian on a free. So after winning the Champions League, that doesn't really scream ambition to me. So yeah, it is a conflicting opinion, but I'll be on the fence with that one, to be honest with you. Yeah, but if someone's like, what if you could get Mbappe or Haaland or Bellingham, then yeah, your mind would be like, oh, I want those players at my club. So listen, I just want the club to be successful. So that would be my opinion. But who knows? There's always rumors that the current Liverpool owners, FSG, are looking to sell the club. Qatari families have been linked. I think a couple of months ago, it was a Saudi family that were linked to the club. So who knows? The ownership might be from a family in the Middle East. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, that wraps us for today. So thank you for everyone for tuning in, and thank you for everyone who shared their comments on the screen. Please, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe and show us your support. All our episodes are available to listen to on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. If you'd like to follow me on social, I'm available on Twitter at OzzieFTP and Ozzie.ftp on Instagram. Next episode will be taking place next Tuesday, 31st of August. So we've got match week 3 coming up this weekend. A couple of big games that comes to head is Manchester City against Arsenal and Liverpool versus Chelsea. So 2 big games there, which we'll be speaking about heavily during the episode. Plus, I'm sure there'll be some more transfer news. We'll talk about more transfers and fantasy football as well. So yeah, be on the lookout for our next episode there. But again, thank you for tuning in, guys. Stay safe, and we shall see you guys very soon. Take care.